Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the BB-Scho. We are once again graced by the presence of Mr. Luke here for, I guess, NBA Wednesday. We're a day late, but yeah, we'll just jump right in. Let's talk basketball. Luke, what's your take on? It's been 2 weeks since we did this, so I know we've got a lot of catching up to do in terms of standings talk and around the league chatter. But what's standing out to you the most?
Um, I just pulled up the standings here. I guess I'll just name off just to preface just the top couple teams from each conference. But in the East, we got Celtics number one seed, Nets at two, Bucks at three, Sixers at four. That seems pretty normal compared to last time we talked. I think the Cavs might have been up there at like three, something like that. But
I mean,
as
they're
for the
they're a game
East,
back too, so
yeah. Cavs are still up there. So I don't know. As for the East, I don't think much has really changed. The West, however, the Nuggets are still holding it down. I know the Pelicans, I think a couple weeks ago, they had the one for, however long. Grizz at two, Pelicans at three, Mavs at four somehow, which is basically the Dallas Luca, but it's another story. And the Kings at five. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really surprised at these standings right now, but we still got a lot of season to go. The Suns are holding down the seventh spot. Also not very surprising. I'll save my Sun slander for later in this discussion, but yeah, man. I mean, nothing really too crazy. I know before the season started, as well with you, Caleb, we were pretty high on the Timberwolves. They're at the 9 seed right now, which is kind of disappointing, but I mean, I think they're still trying to figure things out. So yeah, other than that, I'll let you guys take the floor. I got really nothing too surprising so far.
yeah, I mean, I think preseason I was high on the Cavs and the T Wolves for sure, and it looks like I've hit on one of them. But in terms of the last 2 weeks, I mean, some big headlines. Obviously, Luca's 60-20-10 game, which by freak chance, I had the chance. I literally watched the whole game. And if you guys knew how often I actually sit and watch an entire NBA game,
All
that's
right,
pretty
LeBron.
rare. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying I predicted it was going to happen, man. I'm just saying I was there
Okay.
to
All right.
witness it. All right.
All right. I can respect that. I can respect
Yeah, yeah. I saw him warming up. I was like, oh, he's going to put up Wilt numbers tonight. So, I
that.
Yeah.
saw.
Right. Right.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I guess I posed the question to you guys: what do you have another MVP case outside of Luca that is like valid at this point? If he's going to, I mean, he dropped like 50 the night after that too. So that's my
There's
question to you
valid
guys. There's
cases
valid cases, but do
statistically.
you guys think he's the front runner? I guess would be my first question.
He's my MVP. In my opinion. I don't think the Sixers are high enough that Embiid gets it. However, I believe Embiid is like. I know he's leading the East in terms of points per game. I'd have to double check the numbers with Luca, but he's averaging almost 34. Um, Look, I think really it's gonna be a battle, in my opinion, at the end between Luca and Embiid. I understand the Tatum talk, but in the same breath, the Celtics were in the Eastern Finals last year. Well, they won the Eastern Conference Final. They were in the finals last year. Um, Jason Tatum is not doing anything that we haven't really seen. We know he's a dynamic scorer. We knew he was going to keep kind of improving those numbers. And they got a lot around him. And when you look at the Sixers right now, personally, I think their starting five is fantastic. I don't think they have a whole lot of depth. I mean, when your best bench guys are Montrezl Harrell and D'Anthony Melton, who I actually kind of liked when he was with the Grizzlies, but really hasn't been that good with the Sixers. That's not what the Celtics got. I mean, they got Malcolm Brogdon coming off the bench. And I think he could start for like half teams in the NBA. So realistically, I think Embiid should get more love. Definitely love the idea that Luca gets his first MVP. I mean, he's in my eyes been who's around him, man. He's been like the upper guy in the NBA in my opinion. I know that's probably a hot take, but he's like top three, and he's not three. But
Yeah.
Luke, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hype him up too much because there's a lot of talent in the NBA.
Yeah. I
Let's take it
mean,
away.
I think I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think Luca and Embiid got my top two spots. I was on the Tatum train at first because I feel like this season, like I guess the Boston Celtics kind of came out and established himself as like a top 3 team in the league, that which I believe they still are. But I don't know. Tatum, he's very good. I think he'll be top 5 for the rest of the year in the MVP race. But when you compare him to guys like Embiid and Luka, like, Tatum is so good, but he's not doing anything too crazy. Like, we kind of have, he's grown to become this player, and we kind of expect this now, which I think is kind of unfair. But then you look at guys like Luka, I think Luka is just far and away, at least right now, the MVP for sure. It doesn't even matter how his team, is right now. I mean, the fact that they're a 4 seed and he's, surrounded by the Cavs he's surrounded with. I mean, yeah, and like you said about the Sixers, their starters aren't too bad, but I mean, yeah, we got people like DeAnthony Melton, George's Niang. Like, come on,
Yeah, come on.
we're like, I will give it to Embiid. I think he's probably the second leading scorer in the league, opposed to Luka. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's all going to come down to if the Mavericks can actually produce some real success with basically just Luka. I mean, I think you're forced to give it to Luka at that point. But if they kind of start to drop down, or if he gets injured or something like that, I think they'll probably end up giving it to Embiid, just because I think the Sixers are a lock for a top 5 seed in the East. So I don't know. That's my take. But yeah, as of right now, man, Luka Magic. That's all I gotta say. He's incredible. We're gonna be talking about this guy when we're, our parents' age. Like, he's gonna be like the Larry Bird of this generation. I keep saying it, and he's just proving it right every single night. So
yeah, they're gonna say
take,
the kids are gonna say he was playing against plumbers, and we're gonna be like, that's what we said too, man. But then it happened again.
yeah.
And then, oh man, I didn't even think about that. But the other highlight of the last 2 weeks, Donovan Mitchell goes for 71 against the Bulls. So,
oh gee, I got a story about this, man. Okay,
right,
so this is our NBA usually Tuesday podcast. I'm not condoning or advocating sports gambling, but let's just say that I got into the Prize Picks life a couple weeks ago.
Oh man, we gotta catch up, man.
Yeah.
Prize Picks life is the best life.
Oh yeah, for sure. You already know. But anyway, so Donovan, I guess he had some he put some, Michael Jordan juice in his milk for breakfast that morning or what. But yeah, so I'm looking at the lines on Prize Picks. I got a pretty good parlay going, like 5-legger, nothing crazy. And then I see Donovan Mitchell points, rebounds, assists. I think it was sitting at like 34.5. I was like, oh yeah, that's an under. Like, I'll take that under. And next thing you know, he ended up with 82 like combined. So I'm just sitting there looking at my phone like, wow, like this might be the worst beat in the history of beats. So
that's not a bad beat. That's a bad take. That's just the worst. That's the worst undertake.
And the fact that I think Garland wasn't even playing that night. I don't know. It was my second day on Prize Picks in my defense, so I was just feeling ballsy. But I don't think I'll be betting the under on Donovan Mitchell anytime soon. But for that game, man, I didn't watch the entire game, but if I'm not mistaken, I think they pulled off the comeback, and like, I forget, they're down like 17 or something like that.
No, he literally did the same thing that Luka did, and hit like a weird tip in to force overtime.
Oh yeah. Jeez, yeah.
But yeah, if for the snipes out there, basically, if you ever see Jimmy Butler's PRA hovering around 35, just take the under. It's going to hit like 65% of the time because he just goes out and does cardio. So that's for the snipers.
In last night, bro put the team on his back, get like 35 points alone.
It's a very rare occasion in the
regular
season.
Yeah, probably
playoffs. It's a different story. Yeah, but yeah, I had to turn off the Cavs game after I think it was overtime, and he hit like a second 3, just like right in somebody's face. And obviously, I'm a Bulls fan, and I was like, I can't watch this crap anymore, so I turned it off. But yeah. Christian, your thoughts on Mitchell joining the 70 club?
Overrated. I don't know. I'm going to sound like a hater even talking about this, but like, I don't think Luka needed overtime to do what he did.
He did.
And all right, well, maybe he did. But in terms of like what Donovan Mitchell did, and just bear with me, man, because I don't want to just shred your Bulls. I was refraining
No, go ahead because they deserve it.
But like, you just signed Levine to a supermax, and now they're all like, what I'm hearing from the organization is he's butting heads with Billy Donovan, doesn't like DeMar's getting the preferential treatment, which DeMar kind of earned rightfully so, but that's a story for another day. Um, it wasn't like crazy shocking. Like this is kind of what the Bulls do. I mean, I even remember like the Timberwolves like kind of being like they had a whole bunch of like imploding, I guess, during that game when the Timberwolves hung like 50 on them without go. I know Gobert doesn't contribute to scoring, but like the Bulls have had issues all year. So to like see somebody go for 70 on the Bulls wasn't surprising. Nonetheless, it is a great accomplishment by Donovan
Let me
Mitchell.
get this
I
straight.
know.
There's like less than 10 guys that have ever scored 70 points ever, but you weren't surprised by it, LeBron.
Listen,
Just
man.
gonna throw
Listen,
it back, man.
it happened like a week after the whole Luka thing, so it was just kind of like, I guess, diminished in my eyes. And in the same breath, like we just talked about, like where the Cavs are at. I mean, they're gonna do things in the East, but it doesn't really change the whole outlook for me. I've seen him drop 50 in the playoffs, close to 60, getting 70 in the regular season. It was like, yeah, like I know this is what Donovan Mitchell can do. I know he's an elite scorer. That does not, I don't have any problems with it. I'm just going to keep going back to the fact that they have, when they're starting five and they come down to the playoff, wire to wire, they're all their stars getting like 40 minutes a game. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, if I'm looking at that with the Sixers with James Harden, he's going to cook both those guys. Doesn't matter who's on them. Look at the Bucks. Drew Holiday's like 6'4", probably close to 6'5", and defensively he's going to halt. Like, they got problems, and so if they're going to hinge it on Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland's scoring, playmaking abilities, that's not going to go very far. And we're already kind of seeing it. The Nets leapfrogging them. Bucks have been kind of dipping lately due to health issues, but Celtics are already there. I expect the Sixers to stay above them, you know, past the All-Star break and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, again, it sounds like I'm just hating. Like, it's a great feat, but it's also like it's Donovan Mitchell. Like, that's what he's elite at, is just scoring the basketball. I don't think it changes anything postseason wise for the Cavs.
I would agree with that.
That's a fair take.
You know what I mean? Like we talk about this all the time. There's 82 games in the regular season, great feat, but what does it really mean?
No, I mean,
I think it was just for the clout, to be honest.
Yeah. It really is.
It really was.
Yeah.
Like,
he doesn't have an MVP case right now.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, he doesn't, but he's. I mean, I would assume he's somewhere in the top 10 race on whatever website that is, but he's not going to win it over Luka. No.
Sure.
No, I just can't say I'm surprised this happened against the Bulls. That is just. I mean, if I had to guess, like,
neither was I.
Oh, that's tough.
I will say I would take Mitchell's 70-point game over Booker's, but we don't need to talk about that. But you know, I mean, he put in like Mitchell like led a 17-point comeback, hits the game tying to send it to overtime, right? Or like when Book scored 70, it was just like he was running up his stats. Same thing with David Robinson in the last game of the regular season. I'm assuming we all know that story. It was nonetheless, this was an incredible performance, right? Like the game was actually on the line when he was getting all these points late. And so
that is cool. Yeah.
It wasn't
happening against the Bulls. So
yeah,
takes away some clout.
Did Booker lose that? Didn't he lose one of those games? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure they lost bad against the Celtics.
Yeah, I think he might have put up a crazy stat line and they still lost. I was like,
yeah,
okay, well,
because he didn't have Chris Paul or
they lost by 10. They lost by 10.
Jeez,
that is crazy.
That is tough.
I think you brought up the Nets earlier. Just want to touch on this real quick. I'm sure you guys have seen, but Kevin Durant, I think it was a like sprained PCL or something like that. So I think last thing I saw, he's going to be out for like 2-3 weeks or so. So yeah. I mean, the Nets are only one game up on the Bucks, man. I don't know. I don't know if Kyrie can put everyone in the backpack. I kind of expect them to, I still think they'll win a couple games, but I wouldn't be surprised if they drop down to like the 5 seed, man. Like the Nets they kind of need someone like KD, bro, because man, KD
that doesn't really bother me though.
It doesn't.
Like if they're at 5, I think by the end of the season they still work their way back up in the top 4.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think you can make the case that if dropping, 5 to 6, that might even be better for them. But, I mean,
Can I just say I'm not bought in on the Nets, man. I'm in terms of when it comes to April and May, and if I don't think they'll make it to June. I'm not bought in. I don't see them beating Boston, Miami, or Milwaukee, or Philadelphia. Not Miami, but they can win. Maybe I'm starting to put them in a Suns category, but they're obviously better than the Suns of 19 or 2020 or 2021. Sorry, but I'm just not bought in. I don't think there's good enough defensively.
That's a
That's
fair
fair.
take. I
It's
just think they
fair.
actually have a coach now. I think that
Oh,
makes a lot of
they
difference.
definitely made massive improvements, but I just don't see them
Like,
coming out of the East.
Yeah. I mean, they have to rely so heavily on guys like KD and Kyrie, and it's like, if those guys are both on a cold night, I mean, I don't know. That's the only thing that worries me. These guys, KD and Kyrie, are so good. They're top of the league in talent, but man, if they're going through a cold streak or injuries, like I said, like if KD was to get injured at the beginning of the playoffs,
oh, they're done.
what are you gonna do? Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think for other teams like the Celtics, like if Tatum or Brown was to go down, I think they definitely still have a fighting chance. But I don't know. I think the Nets are really good, but the longevity of it, I mean, we're still only in January, so I don't know. I'm excited to see where they go. I'd love to see KD make a playoff run because watching him in the playoffs is always fun. But
Oh, that's surgical.
yeah, he's insane.
Don't disagree. Don't disagree. So we're getting to that point in the year. The first All Star feedback, fan voting feedback has come out, and I do want to hear your guys' takes. What are your guys' thoughts on fan voting being a thing? Considering that Kevon Looney made the top 10 for front court in the West.
I mean, that's always been a thing. We've dealt with Zaza Pachulia, and that's really the biggest in terms of like fan voting, examples as it gets. And we know obviously by the time the All Star game comes around, the media and the coaches or wherever they make up like 67% of the voting. So fan voting is always going to be alarming. But in terms of like who should actually be the starters, I would love to hear your guys' input. I think the East, in terms of front court, if there's any pushback,
Oh, it gets interesting.
It does.
I think it gets interesting.
Court. What do you mean? It's Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid. And if any of you guys have anything different, I'd love to hear.
Well, what about KD?
Okay.
KD is literally hurt, but all right. And I'm pretty sure KD is literally, in terms of the MVP ladder, on all those guys is below him. Points, rebound, assists.
Pretty sure he's number 2 on the MVP ladder before he got hurt.
If you look at if you look on like what mainstream NBA, .com or
you
whatever.
just referenced the MVP ladder.
No, but like in terms of like actual look at the stats, bro. Like in terms of what he's got points wise, rebounds, assists, comparative to Embiid, Giannis, and Tatum. Nah, I'm not gonna give it to a guy that's hurt over dudes that have been balling all year. I mean, Giannis has put him like 50 every other night, man. Embiid, we know, is leading the East in scoring. And then you got Jason Tatum, who we all said was like beginning of the year wasn't even. KD has never held that MVP spot all year long. I love KD too. He's literally 4, but he in all the statistical categories, he's below. If you guys want to prove me wrong and go look for a reason, go for it. But numbers will prove that all day long, man.
I think the only reason I got for Giannis, Embiid, and KD as my front is, first off, KD has 1 million more votes than Jason Tatum. I don't know if that actually has any say.
That has no merit to me.
I don't care about NBA Twitter.
Also on the basketballreference.com MVP race, I had to look that up. KD is sitting at 4, Tatum's sitting at 6. I mean, I wouldn't say that this is like a valid case, like, oh, this is why whoever should be over whoever, but I mean, I think it could go either way. KD's been on so many All-Star teams. Like Tatum, I'm sure I don't know how many All-Star starts that he's gotten, but I think it could go either way. But I think as for like a debate, like, starter wise, at least, I think the East front court, like you were saying earlier, is the only real debate. I think everything else kind of falls into place pretty nice. Anthony Day-to-Day Davis, I mean, who knows if he'll even be able to play in the All-Star game, but
Yeah, but he gets that spot.
yeah.
I don't know if it's a shoe-in because of injury. So my front court, I have Tatum, Giannis, and Embiid because KD is hurt, and I think that's going to honestly make the difference when it comes to this because we're getting so close to the All-Star game. But who's your guys' backcourt then for the East?
Harden and Trae Young.
Okay.
What?
Okay, that was not.
I was not expecting that at all.
Okay, first of all, the first thing when you said,
what do you guys have? I'm just curious what you guys have.
Backcourt East,
Kyrie and Donovan Mitchell.
Kyrie, I think, is a lock, but I for some reason, as soon as you said guards Eastern Conference, the first words I was about to blurt out was definitely not James Harden. But I mean,
that's surprising from you.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's a different James Harden than his glory days now. But I think he's still very good. But
it's a more efficient
regardless, I think Donovan Mitchell, especially with the 70-point game, is going to get a lot of mention.
That's why I put him there.
And then Kyrie, I mean, it's Kyrie. So I don't know.
So are you guys just like voting on clouts, or are you actually looking at like what they're doing every game and not just like occasionally?
I mean, Kyrie's the number one leader in votes for the backcourt, so I don't know why we're like.
Why are we giving into the fan voting? Why are we doing this?
I think Kyrie's better.
I'm just telling you that
Kevon Looney.
I'm just telling you that there's millions of people who agree with us. That's all I'm
people
saying.
Are voting with their voting.
Trae Young hasn't even played half the season. Like we're giving Harden
that's not even true. That's like literally not even true.
Trae Young, I haven't heard a thing about him all year. They're under 500.
Yeah, but in terms of like numbers, like in terms of like what the guards have been doing, like Kyrie, like
Mitchell's having the best year of his career.
To be quite frank with you guys, I really don't care about the All-Star game whatsoever. I think it's just a legacy builder. I think whoever makes it, like, oh yeah, add that to the stat sheet. Guys like Giannis, KD, whatever. Yeah, it's a good game to watch, but like honestly, I really don't care. But as for Trae Young, man, I don't know. My opinion about him this year has changed. He is having a decent year, but defensively, that is Trae Young and defense do not belong in the same sentence. And the Hawks as a whole are just brutal. Literally, all I've heard this year is the beef with Trae Young and the coach. I don't think that's still happening, but that's all I've heard. I've heard him in some trade rumors, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I respect your take, Chen, but I will not be endorsing Trae in my all-star starter spot.
So sure. Are these our all-star starter spots or our predictions?
I was looking at his predictions. Man. Yeah, I was looking at his predictions.
Okay, so we're on the same page. Yes, I am predicting that Donovan Mitchell will be the starter and Kyrie.
Y'all just passing over James Harden like that, man.
I mean,
he's there.
I think James Harden and Mitchell are interchangeable. I think they're interchangeable, but because
he just gets these casual triple doubles like pretty consistently this year. And you know what?
All of a sudden we want to talk about the value of a triple double.
You see this? You see this poster? You see this poster in my background? That's James Money Harden, buddy. That's my favorite player. Don't look at that, but I got that in their heydays.
I'm going to fight this mainstream idea. You guys are just like, because Donovan Mitchell dropped 70, now he's a shoe.
No, I would have put him there anyways. I put him there because he's having the best year of his career, and he's taken the Cavs to a top 4 or 5 seed, depending on how it plays out, from an 8 seed last year.
I mean, yeah.
And I do agree with that, Caleb, but Christian, like I feel like we're talking about the All-Star game here. Like the All-Star game is when, they go out and each team drops 150 points, just does a bunch of crazy stuff. Giannis tries to dunk on Curry every year. And I feel like I feel like that's the point. They're looking for guys who do crazy historic stuff like Luka. He's an insta lock. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, I guess that's somewhat historic, but I think they're looking like that at least the way I see it is they're looking for the craziest dunkers, the craziest scorers, like boom, that Harden, he's having a good year. He's not the flashiest he's ever been. Trae Young's also having a good year, but I don't know. I just think if you haven't had that major headline about you this whole year, you're cooked. You might make the team, but you ain't starting. I don't know. That might be a hot
like
take,
that.
but
Okay, so I guess what you guys are saying now is it's what you just think is like what the fans are gonna vote, and not like of like who I would have in the All-Star game is what I'm hearing.
if it was
I
who
think
I would have, then we could have a real discussion. But I'm
That's what was
strictly
my
looking at
discussion. Is like
this.
if you're making your All-Star like five on each conference lineups for
Oh,
this
give me
season.
James Harden over Mitchell. What the heck? Yeah, I'm doing that in an instant. But I'm
All
just
right.
I'm
Because
not saying
Mitchell's got a
Harden's
lot more
bad
help
take.
around him too. He's got Garland, he's got Evan Mobley, he's got Jared Allen, he's got
I
Caris LeVert,
don't know if
Kevin
you're.
Love.
I don't know.
Did
The
you
list can
really
go
just
on.
say that?
I don't know
Did
if
you
you're
really?
allowed to say that.
We just said Embiid was an MVP front runner.
And he's got Harden, and then who's next? Tobias
Maxey?
Harris. Maxey's been fine, inefficient for sure.
Yeah. Okay,
but
is
he's been
Embiid
good. And
better
then
or
PJ
worse
Tucker,
than every player on the Cavs?
he is better, but they don't have a team, man. I just brought this up earlier. They don't have a bench, and the Cavs can go 7 or 8 deep. They're getting Ricky Rubio back. I know that's gonna be their 9th or 10th guy, but it's like your 6th, 7th man is gonna be like Kevin Love, and then whoever, Caris LeVert, whoever, on top of Garland, Mitchell.
Your point in
Mobley,
my eyes is giving
Jared Allen.
Mitchell
They
a
have like
better
3 or
case.
4 All-Stars.
You're giving Mitchell a
have 3
better
or 4
case by
All-Stars.
saying that they have 3 or 4 All-Stars on the Cavs roster.
Yeah, if all those guys are playing at their peak, Jared Allen at a point was. Evan Mobley, when he's not 20 years old, will be. But even right now in this season, he's having like a great year. Darius Garland. Like, you can't tell me that roster is better than what the Sixers got. It's just the Sixers have better star talent. And I'm saying that star talent should be in the game, not Donovan Mitchell, who we know is going to get eliminated in the second round, like he does every single year. But yeah, you guys keep campaigning for him.
We're talking about failing in the playoffs, and we're arguing for James Harden.
I mean, he gets to the conference finals at least. He
What?
at least gets there.
Yeah, he didn't have
Donovan
Rudy
Mitchell
Gobert
can't get
on his
there.
team.
Yeah, you're right. He had PJ Tucker at center.
Regardless, I feel like this does not need to be that heated of a debate over All-Star starters.
That's what I mean. Like, everyone's just all of a sudden push.
What?
I'm not even a Harden fan. We're gonna push back on the fact that bro's having a great year.
No one
And
pushed
I'm looking
back.
at it.
That's why I'm confused why you're so fired up. I literally said he's my number 3. I just put Mitchell.
I didn't hear that. I just
give-
heard Luke was like, "Yeah, it'll be there," and I'm
I
like,
could
"Yeah,
give
it'll be."
unlimited hot takes about Harden, but I'm gonna keep him in my heart because that is just.
Yeah,
I
you-
have
you-
way
you-
more. I have way more of a problem with the Trae Young pick than the James Harden.
Yeah, that's kind of out of pocket. For a starter,
I mean, Trae Young's averaging like 27 this year, bro. Again, got to a conference.
So is
finals, and
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell. Okay.
What do you
see
not
come playoffs,
understand
man.
about how
running
the
in
All-Star
circles
game
here.
works?
We're
The
running in
All-Star
circles here,
game
boys.
has nothing to do with previous playoff
We can
performances.
move on, bro. We can. It's
All right,
just
all
in
right.
terms of
Who do you
I would
guys have for
in
the
5.
West? To the West.
You guys
Andrew
can go
Wiggins
first,
is up
bro.
there.
Here's my
Come
5
on.
for the West.
Please don't put Wiggins in, bro.
We're not putting
I'm
Wiggins
gonna
in.
leave.
I'm just-
If any of you guys say Wiggins, I'm
No,
out.
I'm looking at the
You guys
list
can
right
take
now.
the rest of it, man.
Here's my 5
No
for the
way.
West.
I'm
Here's my
surprised he's
5
up
for the
here.
West. And this is going on the fact that Curry is hurt. 1, Luka, 2, Shai, 3, LeBron, 4, Zion, 5, Jokic.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that. I mean, once AD comes back, he can take Zion's spot, but it's
we
really
don't know.
just
I think
that's about it.
I think Shy and Ja are kind of interchangeable, but I think this year I'd want to lean to Shy more just because he's having an amazing year.
Shai's got like 31 a game, and he's playing with the Thunder.
Yeah.
I gotta give bro that.
I would give it to Shy over Ja, but yeah, I think I would say.
And I
the
know
same thing for the
Steph's on
front court.
top of the fan voting, but he's not. I don't even know if he's going to be healthy. Like, I don't know his timetable. I'd have to look it up.
Even numbers wise, he's number 3. I can't. I actually think the back court for the West is like, if it's not Luka and Shai, I feel like there's definitely bias, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
They got Westbrook up here at number 6 in fan voting.
That's
My
what
God.
we can't look at this, bro. It's
Oh,
like
man.
fan voting's like LeBron, Curry, AD, Wiggins, Draymond, Klay Thompson, Kevon Looney. Like, it's just a popularity contest.
Yeah.
You're not okay.
So why
Who's
are you
your
guys
five?
acknowledging it?
Who's your five?
That's why I don't like the All-Star game, because that's what that's.
Yeah,
what
no,
it is.
I'm saying, like, in terms of like my 5 best players in the East and West, like that's what I'm getting. That's all.
Who's your
I'm
five
not
from the
really.
West? The same?
Yeah, the same. If AD's healthy, he takes Zion's spot, but he's been down an extended period of time, so I'd remove him. But he had an MVP case before he went down.
Okay. Luke, yours was the same.
Yeah.
All right.
I just hope that my boy
Debate,
Tyrese
man.
Halliburton gets a bench spot at the end of the bench.
Oh, if
Yeah,
he's
he
an All-Star,
deserves
yeah,
it.
that's robbery, man.
Yeah. That's all
I think he
got
has
to
a
say
better
about
case
it.
than Trae Young.
Go check his stats, man. Just go check his stats, bro.
Oh, man.
We'll see
All
the
right,
playoff
that
time
was a
too.
joke.
You guys keep hating,
That
bro.
was a joke. Come on.
I know.
You can laugh. Jeez. All right, let's transition to. I don't know how we just got so heated over an all-star start.
I'm not mad, bro. I'm just campaigning my case. That's all I'm doing. You
Oh,
asked for a
man.
show,
That's
I'm
why we're
giving you
here.
a show.
It's good to be back. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We need the
All right.
pushback, man. Come on. We need it.
Mhm.
All right,
So
who he
dry.
played for? We're gonna try and stump the human encyclopedia and get mad about that. So,
whoa, we're going right here.
all right, Luke, you're the guest. You can go first.
All right. Let me pull this up here. Right. And boom. All right. So I used to give Christian the benefit of the doubt and used to tell him the years. I think it goes without saying that years are off the table. So
Geez.
I will say this player is on the younger side.
Why would you say that? Why? Oh,
Well, you could take that a couple ways, but it's okay. This one's kind of easy. The next one I dug deep again. You guys know me, but anyway, so not too many teams for this guy. He was drafted by the Hornets and traded on draft night to the Clippers, and I think he might have had a little stint in the G League, and eventually was traded to the Thunder, where he plays today.
So, oh, sorry. Who was he traded to on drafted by the Hornets and then traded to the Clippers?
Yep, this should be a gimme.
What?
Yeah, man, I'm not really
Say
sure.
it again. Say it again. Go through it one more time. Sorry.
We have a
He
year
was
here.
drafted by the Hornets and traded to the Clippers on draft night, and was eventually traded after, I think, a year to the Thunder, where he now plays. When I thought of this guy for this, I thought it would either stump you or you'd get it right away.
Oh, because there's no
easy.
years. Okay. All right.
Younger,
I got it.
younger side. You do got it.
Yeah, I think so.
I also preface by saying, when I said drafted by the Hornets and traded, I was just trying to throw you guys off. The Hornets have nothing to do. It's Clippers.
I was saying this is just
yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess Shy because I'm pretty sure he played somewhere else, and that's what I'm assuming we're going after here. But I did not know he played for the Clippers. Yeah, Shy is my final answer.
Christian?
Yeah, no, I remember Shy. He was with the Lou Will days of the Clippers. They like actually kind of hung in there with KD and both KD Warriors days. Yeah. If it's not Shy, then Heinrich Williams is my next guess. Like,
it's
I don't know
Shy.
a whole lot of Thunder players, man.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just don't realize he played on the Clippers. I remember using him in 2K off the bench. Like, I don't know. So I thought he would be a cool one. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, you guys can. I don't know who's up next, but go for it.
All right. I dug deep for this one. I'm a preface for that, but okay. And I'll give the years. If you guys can't get it, because I'm going to be shocked if you guys get this one, man. But drafted by the Bulls originally, he played 4 seasons there, and then for the last 2 years, he's been with the New York Knicks.
You did not just pull one of my guys. Oh my!
No way!
I know exactly who this is too. Hint, Luke, he's white.
Bulls to the Knicks.
No
Bulls to the
way.
Knicks.
Is that because
I'm
you
sorry,
prepped him or you actually know it?
I did know it, but I figured I would use it because I was like, he's a no name to them. Like, he played for the Bulls. So you
Can I
guys
get
might
some
know.
years?
Drafted by the Bulls in 2017, then went to the Knicks in 2021, and he's still there.
Oh, jeez. White dude?
NCAA tournament legend. Maybe not legend, but that's where you'll know him best from.
Wow. I'm trying to think of any Bulls to Knicks players. I don't know if I'm just
Bro's got a
blanking
football number, and it's not Taj Gibson.
Wait, what?
When I say football number, it's like above like 30, 40, and I feel like that's a major hint. I can't really give any more. It's not even my guy. It's Caleb's
I'm
guy.
just, jeez, yeah. I'm just blanking right now. I don't know how I don't know this.
He played for Villanova.
Villanova. I'm gonna be so mad once I hear this. Bulls to Knicks. He's clearly not a starter. He's just riding the bench.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's way down there.
But deep on the bench. Okay.
Averaging 2.5 minutes per game this year.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Classic Bulls draft pick. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It is a classic Bulls draft pick, but it's Ryan Arcidiacono.
Oh God. Okay. Well, God, Villanova should have gave it away. Those are actually some good hits, but yeah, I haven't thought about that name in years.
Since the tournament.
Yeah, probably since the tournament. So yeah, that was a good one though. Good stuff.
All right. I cannot believe Christian got that. Dang it.
It's all good, man. You know how the story
my
goes.
Apologies, Luke. That was clearly meant for a different level of difficulty that we both have.
Yeah. I just need to once we keep doing this every week. Yeah, I'll get back in the swing of things. But yeah, that was bad. Anyway, let's go.
No, I think you guys should be able to get this one. He was drafted by the Hawks in 2013-14. Stayed there until the 2018-19 season, which then he was with the Thunder for 2 years. Then he was in 2021, he was with the Lakers. Last year, he was on the Celtics, then got traded to the Rockets halfway through the year. And now he's currently on the Lakers again.
So, what was it? Thunder, Hawks, Lakers?
Hawks, Thunder, Lakers for a year. Split time between the Celtics and Rockets last year, and now he's back with the Lakers.
Nice.
Jeez.
Nice.
Jeez. Back with the Lakers.
Oh.
God.
Come on, gents. I'm going to say the name. You guys are going to be so mad.
Oh, man.
Keep thinking of
He's not a classic journeyman. Like, journeyman in terms of like what I read off, but like you're going to think about it and be like, no way.
So Hawks, Thunder, Lakers.
2 years to Thunder.
Hawks, Thunder, Lakers, then what?
Last year he was with the Celtics, and then at the trade deadline he got moved to the Rockets. I feel like that's the best
Rockets.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, I don't know.
No.
Hawks.
Boys, he's like a 2K16 legend, I feel like.
2K16 legend?
2K16 legend.
He's got, and another hit. Like,
when you say 2K...
His hairdos have always been, like, intriguing. Okay? And it's not Gerald Green.
Is this Lonnie Walker?
Come on, bro. I didn't even say Spurs. I didn't even say Spurs.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, I don't know. Lonnie Walker's always got some freaking...
And it's not Alfred Payton. That's another one.
Who's got some hairdos?
He's always got, like, the, little hair, different color variation. That's the last thing
I'm thinking of a guard.
Dude, I'm
I know it.
Go ahead. I'm
the
lost.
The patch on the hair, bro.
Thank
That's what I
you.
just thought
Thank
of.
you.
Dennis Money Schroeder. I don't know about money.
Thank
Dennis
you.
Schroeder.
Oh my god!
Thank you.
I was thinking
Yeah.
of Ish Smith the whole time, and I was like, I know that's not right, and I was confusing him with Dennis Schroeder's
Jeez.
face.
How did that
so
take me so
wrong.
long? Thunder Hawks, man. Those are like the only two. I don't even remember him on the Rockets or. I mean, I do obviously Lakers, but yeah, Thunder Hawks, man.
Wow.
No, yeah.
That's impressive.
Ish Smith's played for like, I would have listed off like 15 teams if it was Ish Smith.
No, I knew it wasn't Ish Smith, but I was like picturing his face, and I was like, oh, I feel like it's that. And then that was actually Dennis Schroeder's face.
Oh boys. All right. This next guy, some might say I did it for the memes, but I dug deep for this one.
Oh gosh.
Shy was just to get the the brain juices
Get the
flowing. All right, so we I'll just run through it fast with no years, and then see if Christian catches on quick, because I have a feeling this is either going to be a just instant or you might get stumped. But anyway, so started off with the Phoenix Suns. He was there for 4 years. I'm assuming he was drafted by this team. He was then traded to the New Orleans Hornets, where he played 1 year. He was then traded to the Trailblazers, where he played 2 years. Traded to the Knicks. He played there 1 year. Traded to the Bulls, where he played 3 years. After the Bulls, he was traded to the Bucks for a year. Traded to the Wizards for a year. Traded to the Magic for a year. And traded to the Cavs, and is currently on the Cavs.
I'm not following it. What?
Oh,
This is a guy who you hear his name, you're like, oh yeah, but then when you actually think about him, you're like, dude, I don't know where this guy has played.
I actually do know who it is.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Of course you do.
Of course you do. And there's no chance I'm going to come up with an answer.
Can you read teams real quick, Luke? Just so I to make sure.
I'll give the years. I'll give the years. Just to give Caleb some assistance here. So drafted by the Phoenix Suns, 2008. He was there until 2012.
Yeah, it's okay.
He goes, oh yeah. All right. Traded to the Hornets 2012 through 2013. Traded to the Trailblazers 2013 to 2015. He was then traded to the Knicks 2015-16. Traded to the Bulls 2016 to 2019. 1 year stint with the Bucks after that. 1 year stint with the Wizards. 1 year stint with the Magic, and is now on the Cavs.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Just for the memes.
That's like the darkest age of Bulls teams too. Like,
yeah, well, he fits in. Once you figure it out, he fits right into that dark age.
All right, can I give? I'll give Caleb a hint. All right, it was Archie's big man. All right.
Hey,
you're gonna be mad.
I'm thinking
you will be mad.
Archie's big man. I can only think of Chris Jenkins because of the shot.
No, like in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Villanova.
Who's Archie? Wait, what?
You're talking about Diagno.
Yeah, Ryan Archianando, or his last name.
On the Bulls, his big man on the Bulls. Yeah.
Big man on the Bulls, bro. Like,
come on, man.
Lauri Markkanen.
No.
Okay, and it was not Cristiano Felicio. It was not.
It was not Felicio either. I don't think Felicio's been in the league for this long.
I'll
give you the biggest hint. The biggest hint. He has a. Oh, I will. He has a brother who starts on another NBA team, and Christian may or may not be wearing his team.
I was never gonna get this. I was never gonna get this. I don't even know if it's Costas or if it's the other one.
Oh,
no, it's not. No, it's not.
No, bro, no.
He's wearing an Antetokounmpo jersey.
No. You're saying his brother's on my team. His brother's on my team,
dude. Just tell me who it is. This is embarrassing.
It's Robin Lopez, bro.
Yeah, I'm not getting that. I don't think of Robin Lopez. I'm glad I didn't get it. He doesn't deserve my thoughts. I'm glad that was
He's got the best skyhook since Kareem, bro.
No, we
put some respect on Robin Lizard's little jump hook.
Dude, every time I see him now,
like 20 minutes.
I actually still don't remember him in a Bulls uniform. I still don't. That's how bad he must have been.
Yeah, he. Whenever I see him nowadays, it's just him making a weird face on the bench or beating up a mascot. He does not. I didn't bring up his stats, but he doesn't do anything.
Robin
No, I actually am curious of
Lopez.
why he still has a roster spot because it's not like he has like any
He's a
offensive
practice
game
player,
outside
man.
of that.
He's a practice player.
Yeah.
Good defender in
I guess
practice.
so.
It's
I
the
guess so.
charisma factor.
It's like
It's easier to get in a tree on the court, I guess.
Oh my gosh. And it's Brooke Lopez. They look nothing alike.
Yeah, but he's got a brother.
Lopez
Lopez twins. Rolos.
All right. All right. I may have to go for years on this one, but I do need to preface that he was on his final team. He was on that roster last year, and he is no longer on a roster. So I have dug it, I would say deep for this one, but I think you guys might be able to get it. So drafted by the Boston Celtics. He was there for 1 year, and then he went to Phoenix for 4 years. He spent a lot of time in Atlanta after that.
2K legend.
Unbelievable. That's so freaking stupid.
I'm no. Keep going. I got nothing.
After Atlanta, he went to Brooklyn. Then he was in Miami. Then he spent a year in Utah, 2 years in Utah. Then he spent a year in Houston. And then he spent 3 years out of the league and appeared in one game last season for the Boston Celtics.
Nice.
Oh,
Christian, you got it still? Or?
Wait a minute. Run the teams back real quick.
Boston, Phoenix, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Miami, Utah, Houston, Boston.
I will change my answer.
Interesting.
Mentally. Wow. I thought it was a different guy, but he played longer with the Rockets.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Oh, jeez. So you got a guy, Christian?
Yeah, and you know what? I think you'll be mad if you don't get this guy.
Okay. 2K legend.
You know him. You know him. He last appeared with the Celtics, correct?
Yes. Originally drafted by the Celtics in 2001.
Yeah.
2001?
Yeah, that should be a dead giveaway, bro.
Celtics?
That should be a dead giveaway.
2001.
Last year, if he played, he was like 40.
Okay. Jeez. What? Okay. Could you say the years with the teams again?
Yes. Spent 2001 with the Celtics, 2001 to 2005 with the Suns, 2005 to 2012 with the Hawks, 2012 to 2015 with the Brooklyn Nets, 2016, sorry. Then spent 2015, 2016 with Miami, a year with Utah, after 2 years with Utah after that, 2017, 2018, he was on the Rockets. And then 2021, 2022, he played in one game for the Boston Celtics.
Oh, jeez. And I know this guy. 2K
you
legend.
Absolutely know this guy. I believe he has over 20,000 career points.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Take the 2K legend thing out because I was thinking of a different guy when I said that.
Okay.
He's still probably good in 2K.
What team is he like most known for? Why?
Hawks.
I would say Atlanta. Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I keep thinking Horford, but it's not Horford. He's
think of who he played with. Think one of the wings he played with.
All right, let's just give him the answer.
I was thinking big man the whole time.
I can't believe you got this so quick, Christian. That's so dumb. It's such a perfect one for this game too, because he plays for 1 year with the team he drafted for. Was drafted by.
Man, I am like I'm thinking of like it's not.
Oh, you're gonna be pissed.
I'm gonna be pissed. I know I am.
You're gonna be so mad.
I need to freshen up, man. I'm rusty. Oh, jeez.
I mean, I wouldn't be that mad. No, I won't.
I think you will be.
Okay, yeah, Christian, just go for it.
Go ahead.
It's our boy ISO Joe Johnson.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Hawks, Nets. Yeah, that tracks.
It tracks.
I looked this up.
I initially thought it was Gerald Green. I did, but then I was like Utah. I didn't remember.
Tracks.
And he didn't stay a long enough time in the Rockets, but
yeah.
the career path followed, like the Suns and whatever.
Yeah, I looked him up and I was like, I wonder when he was last on a team. And then it was like, oh, he appeared in a game last year for the Celtics.
I don't remember that. I was trying to think like what old head just randomly suited up for the Celtics.
So, okay, you know the best part about this is those 3 years he was out of the league before the Celtics was he was playing in the big three. Yeah. So then like I saw like, oh, like he's with the Celtics, so he got like a bucket, and then it was on like a 10-day, and they didn't bring him back, and that was the last we really saw in the NBA of Joe Johnson.
Yeah, I
still
remember
cooks
in
Big Three though.
Oh yeah, he's goated in Big Three. Jeez.
Yeah,
that's a good
the games are 50, and he averages like 27. It's ridiculous.
I think that is the oldest player we're ever going to get for this. Not going to lie.
Yeah, 2001. Jeez, I was born in 2001. Like, oh my goodness.
And the NBA as long as he's been alive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we got the finale for this episode. This guy, not as old as 2001, but he was drafted in the 2010-11 season. And I'm going to go slow. In 2010-11, he was with the Rockets. You guys know him. You do. He was with the Rockets and then got traded to the Grizzlies. Then in 2011-12, he was with the Warriors and got traded to the Magic. From then, in 2012-13, he stayed with the Magic and got traded to the Bucks. The next season, he was with the Suns in 2013-14.
Oh, jeez. Here we go with the journeyman.
2014,
he's been on a new team every year.
Yeah.
All right, hey, hear me out. Hear me out. It gets better. In 2014-15, he was with the Thunder and got traded to the Sixers. In 2015-16, he was with the Pelicans and then got traded to the Sixers again. And the next season, he signed with the Pistons and was with them until 2019. In 2019-20 and 2020-21, he was with the Wizards. Then last season, he started off with Charlotte, but then went back to the Wizards. And this season, he's currently playing with the Nuggets.
Was he on a team besides the Pistons for more than 2 years?
How is he still in the league? That's what I want to know.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at these stats. It's actually kind of crazy that he's still in the league. I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm assuming Luke Mbamute.
Actually, so he's with the Pistons for 3 full years, Wizards 2.5. So he did play with the Wizards. Well, another team.
Such a long tenure, 2.5 years with the Wizards.
Yeah. Actually, wow, this NBA reference is speaking volumes. It goes 3 seasons with the Pistons, 3 with the Wizards, 2 with the Sixers, 2 with the Magic, and the rest are all 1 season. So, considering this guy was drafted back in 2010,
that's why I'm shocked.
This might be a little difficult.
Okay.
Me too.
Hold on.
What team is he currently on?
Nuggets. He plays with the Nuggets. He's in the rotation.
On this show, when we talk about a textbook journeyman, is this the guy who comes to mind? Is this the guy?
You tell me, man.
I think I know it.
Go ahead, because I don't know who you're thinking.
Okay.
I think
I know. You don't have a guess?
Well, when you say textbook,
you know the guy. Yeah.
I'm sure I do. I always do, man. I always know the guy.
You've seen him play. You've seen him. You have anyone that comes to mind when you hear this long of a list?
I'm thinking one of the Morris twins, but we already did.
Good guess.
Don't think
good guess.
If you want to talk about memes and journeyman combined, I think this is about as good as it gets. And we've been talking about this guy. He's like the guy, like, oh, journeyman. He's like this guy.
Yeah, when you say that, I think of like JaVale McGee, and that's not him.
May I ask, is he like a guard? Is he a guard?
He perhaps might be a guard.
Just guess. I got it. Just guess.
I got it. It's Smith.
It's actually Ish Smith. After
it's Ish Smith.
No way.
Oh my God!
Why didn't I even think of that? What is?
Bro, look at these career numbers. He averages 19 minutes a night, 43% from the field, 32 from 3. How was he still in the league as a point guard? For his career, he averages 7 points. His best season was like 11. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was 12. It was 12 points with the Sixers in 2015.
Ish freaking Smith, bro. Has he ever been in the top 7 in a team's rotation ever?
I would be
don't
shocked.
think so.
I would be genuinely shocked.
Ish Smith. That's so
Ish Smith.
dumb.
That he was bound to be chosen one of these times. Oh my goodness. I
Oh,
was just thinking, I was like, wait a second, like these no-name teams and this no-name guy. There's only one guy who fills the spot, bro. The classic journeyman. The example for all other NBA journeymen, Ish Smith. What a guy.
staple of this game, man.
Yeah. Getting to the bag no matter where.
He's
Shout
an
out to Ish
icon.
Smith. My goodness.
All right, let's do a little better or worse to close this out. I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts. So we'll go Rondo first. Rajon Rondo, better or worse all time. I was kind of struggling to gauge where you guys might be at with this one. So I'm gonna go with another great Celtic to kick off debate, but Rajon Rondo, better or worse all time than Danny Ainge.
I have the short answer.
Okay, I have a backup if you guys are gonna go
Like it is
Rondo right away.
I think Danny Ainge is better as a front office dude than player.
Okay.
Especially comparison to Rajon Rondo. And yeah, when I think of like prime Celtic days, I actually be really curious where you guys rank him all time, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Rondo. I just think he can provide so much when he's actually playing. And playoff Rondo is definitely a thing. I never heard about playoff Ainge.
We don't have to spend a lot of time on Ainge. I was just trying to see where you guys were.
It's a good one. I mean,
the other guy I have is Dennis Johnson.
I think you can make more of an argument for him, but I think I'd have to go Rondo for both of them. To be quite honest,
that's fair.
I'd have to check the numbers, man, because given the era, Dennis Johnson was like a 6'4", minimum maybe 6'5" point guard, and actually averaged better numbers than people. It's not like Rondo was an elite scorer, man. Like I actually think Dennis Johnson played like 20 years earlier, and he actually might have around the same percentages, if not better than Rondo. So that's why I'll have to give him the nod for now. I bring up Rondo, but he's so hard to rank because of how inconsistent he was. Like you think about it, like he was good with the Celtics. He kind of fell off for a bit. He was good with the Pelicans with Boogie and AD when they were healthy. He was actually pretty good with the Bulls that one year until he got hurt. I don't know, man. He's just got a weird career, but
yeah,
I'll take the consistency of Dennis Johnson.
I think Rondo is one of those guys that kind of impacts the game further than the stat sheet. I mean, besides like assists and steals, that's why I think it's kind of hard to rank him. But
right,
I don't know, Rondo. I mean, especially those Celtics days, he was like one of the household names, along with that stacked team. So I'd probably have to go Rondo.
I would probably go DJ because if we're talking about the Celtics days, look, Rondo was the fourth option on that team, and DJ was probably number two or three. Two or three. McHale, maybe. But look, Rondo's career average is 9.8 points per game. Like, I think that Rondo,
that was probably his least, though. You know what I mean? Like, in terms when you think of Rondo, you think of like playmaking. Defensively, he was a pest.
Oh yeah.
I don't really. No, I'm not disagreeing
as much.
That's crazy to hear. Let's all.
I know it's
all
crazy
bookmark that sentence and come back to it.
I'm just saying, bro, he was usually like everything else, and not just in the way of like Draymond Green just running around out there dumping it off. Like he had the ball in his hands doing things.
I'm just gonna ignore it, man. I'm not taking the bait. Not taking the bait. I already took the bait once today. I'm not taking it again. Yeah, this one's close. I didn't really know, Rondo. I don't know. Who do you guys got? I guess would be my. Let's see if we can find a better gauge through other people that you guys prepared.
It's a fair take. I'll start with the better or worse than. Again, I gotta find guys that inconsistent career, right? Darren Williams.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that I found it. I was like, this might be a great debate. Because at his peak, Darren Williams was as good as like Chris Paul at the time when he was with the Jazz. And he just hit literally the biggest cliff probably I've ever seen. And like, it wasn't because he was old or injured or anything. He just got bad.
Didn't D. Will get a ring with the Cavs? in 60.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
He got
just
so
dumb.
lucky.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
Shout out LeBron.
All
I
right.
think I don't know. I think my immediate reaction, I just like D Will. That's my immediate reaction. Just all around, I think. I mean, you could definitely give the edge to like passing and stuff to Rondo if you really want to, but I think D Will was just, as for a complete player, he might not have been as good defensively, but scoring wise, most definitely just out of the water better. But yeah, I think I have to go D Will. I don't really think it's too crazy of a take, but
yeah. My gut reaction was the same, and I think the numbers back it up. This is a really D Will. I haven't thought about this guy in forever, but Rondo's peak career points per game was 13.7. He did that twice, and then never averaged more than 12 assists. He averaged 11.7 twice, but he was consistently around averaging a double double. D Will was relatively the same in the assist column, with scoring almost 7 more points per game. Never until the end, always averaged more than the 13.7, was over 20 multiple times for a season, while still maintaining double digit assists per game, or like a 9.7 in 2011, something like really close to it. So I think it's D Will, but this is, we talk about like accolades. I mean, Rondo does have another ring, but it's a bubble ring, so it doesn't count. So, and D Will's ring shouldn't count either.
Wow. No, I don't know if you're really wrong on the whole D Will thing. But in terms of a prime, apex of their career, definitely Darren Williams. Like personally, I'd rather have him at his best ability on my team than Rondo. If we were going to go with like the career route, I know a lot of people are going to probably give the nod to Rondo, especially just recency bias. But I'm with you guys. I'm not really going to push back here. I actually am more a fan of Darren Williams than Rajon Rondo.
No, I think he was underrated for a long time, and then like
Absolutely. Still
randomly
is, I think.
started like validating that underrating by falling off a cliff in the last 4 years of his career. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had the potential to be an all-time great, and just really fizzled out really quickly.
Yeah, agreed.
Fair take, yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Luke, who do you got?
I got two guys. One of them I think is I think you could make the case, but I think it'll be pretty easy. So I'll start off with this guy. Rondo, better or worse all time than Penny Hardaway?
I'm going Penny.
Okay. All right. Good.
I'm going Penny.
Good.
Yeah, I just bro, he could have really in his prime ran his own team. And Rondo could. He just wasn't going to be a contender with it. Like, you give Penny a decent second option. They can go places.
I mean, Rondo, I don't think Rondo ever even sniffed an MVP like mention, not even discussion, just a mention.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And Penny most definitely did, especially after Shaq left. I mean, there was debate over whose team it was when Shaq was there, and Shaq was arguably like that was almost his peak, right? Those last couple of years, and before you could argue his peak was in LA too, but Shaq was really good, and we were debating about, well, not us, we weren't alive, but there was debate over whose team it was. So, yeah, I'm going Penny.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty easy. I think when you look at like the tiers of like point guards, like obviously, Rondo's here and Penny is at least a full tier ahead of him, but second guy, you could argue the same thing here. The stats would be interesting. Scoring obviously is, you can't, unless you're looking at like Scott Skiles, like maybe he's not a good scorer, but better or worse all time than Baron Davis?
Oh. I'm gonna go with Baron Davis. Part of it might be because I really liked him, especially in the Warriors years. That's a very good one, though, because he again is another guy similar to Darren Williams, and where he fell off rather quickly. Like, it was a kind of unanticipated drop off.
I would
probably just for his dynamic ability, man. That's really about it. I think like Rondo's a better like facilitator in terms of like gathering assists and whatnot, but like Baron Davis could play make and his scoring was a lot more lethal.
Yeah.
I will co-sign that. I mean, Baron Davis career average of 7 assists. So not quite the facilitator, but then a career average of 16 points. And I know like pulling career numbers and stuff, but kind of a similar discussion to D Will, where it's like he was pretty good a facilitator, maybe just a little bit worse, and then brought more offensively. You know, you had to guard him when he stood on the 3-point line, which you don't have to do for Rajon Rondo, except for like one random night. But yeah, that's another good one. That's a good poll.
Yeah, I think you could almost make the argument that similar to the Penny, like Barron's kind of on that, tier ahead. I think I don't know about a full tier ahead, but
I
I
think
don't
it's a
know.
half tier. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked up like a list like top 50 point guards all time. They got Rondo at 44 and they got Baron Davis at 42. So a lot closer than I kind of
Oh,
initially
wow.
expected. But
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear the rest of that list because I
me
was about to
too.
ask. I was going to say, like, where is Rondo? Top 25, top 30, top 50. I probably would have said right around 30, 35. I'm not going to flesh out my whole list, but what do you guys think?
I think that's fair. I
Maybe it
I
is
feel like
40.
honestly, if
Maybe if you
I
look.
feel like there's
yeah,
probably some old head names ahead of them that I probably
yeah,
wouldn't agree
they
with.
got like they got a bunch of names on here. Like I don't know. I mean, you could maybe make the case for top 30, but there's also a lot of old heads. I mean, granted, I don't know how good this list is. They got D Rose at 39, so I'm just kind of taking this
I
just to
mean,
look at
at his
names.
peak, though, he won an MVP. Rondo was, like we said, never even sniffed that discussion.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think when it comes to this segment, like better or worse segment, though, I feel like we're all kind of good at it now, but we kind of look at it from an all time perspective and then, like a 1v1 or like who would you rather have type of perspective. So that all kind of factors in. I don't really know what this list is here. I was just kind of looking for names, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I would say, I don't know, probably
That's a good
borderline
name.
top
Baron
30.
Davis was definitely the best name. I will definitely
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, let's pivot to Boogie Cousins. This one was very, very interesting because at his peak, I think he's up there. When you talk about centers, but also fell off.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. I've got two names prepared, but I'll lead with this. I'll lead with this, and I feel like I know what you guys are going to do. So, but better or worse all time than Demarcus Cousins, Ben Wallace.
Ooh.
You would pull the ultimate defender with atrocious offensive numbers. But then you look at Boogie, who's made out of Play-Doh, and he can't play defense at times, especially later in his career. I'm gonna go with DeMarcus Cousins because I think at a point with the Kings, like he was he was actually legitimately the best center at a certain points. Maybe like it was only a year or so. Ben Wallace, especially in that era, could never make that claim. And I don't even like if Ben Wallace got 20 points in a game, I'd be shocked. Like that, it was just that's just not something he could do. And especially conducive to like the era that Boogie plays in. Offense obviously means a bit more back than it did in the 2000s. I'll give it to Cousins, but like it's a very good argument because I know Ben Wallace has got the accolades, he's got the ring, and he was definitely a major part of it. Um, I'm curious to hear Luke's thoughts. I think this is actually
Yeah.
a very good one.
Yeah, no, this is a really good one. I regarding points at least, I think if Prize Picks was around back in the day, I think I'd go,
Taking the under every single time.
well, not only the under for points, but if there was like a points versus blocks, like I think I'd rather I think I'd rather him have 20 blocks than 20 points. Like that I'm taking his blocks over every time. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go Demarcus. I mean, he's kind of been plagued with injuries, like with it throughout his career, but like kind of similar to AD. Obviously, I don't think he's quite as elite, but I think Demarcus Cousins, when healthy, he was always one of those top guys. Like on Kings, especially, even on the Pelicans too. Like it wasn't just AD running the show down there. So I'd probably have to lean Demarcus Cousins as well, but I
Man.
think it all depends on what you value because Ben
Yeah.
Wallace, if you want a hard-headed, set guy down in the paint, I mean, that's about as good as it gets. Like he's not letting any layup or anything go unfazed. So
I think I'm going to be honest. I think you guys are crazy. If we're having a one-on-one discussion or the pickup game discussion, yeah, I think I lean Cousins. I think it's close, but Ben Wallace beat Kobe and Shaq, guys. I mean, this is like,
come on, bro. He don't be like he beat Kobe and Shaq. Don't say that.
No, I'm
Don't
not saying
say
he didn't.
that.
I'm not saying he didn't have help, but I think he's probably one of the top 5 most impactful defenders of all time. And I see the argument. I mean, Boogie's numbers, he's averaging over 25 points a game at some points in his time, his career. But in terms of accomplishments and I think accomplishments and accolades are basically the same word. I would probably go Ben Wallace. For playing a game tomorrow night in today's NBA, absolutely Demarcus Cousins.
My
all-time ranking, I will put Ben Wallace first.
I know you will, but my final just point.
I just want to preface to the audience, whatever he's about to say, this is the guy that didn't have Dennis Rodman in his top 75 players of all time.
And it's also the guy who said Marcus Smart was better than Zach LaVine. But in terms of
when did I say that?
We did it better or worse. And I'll take Marcus Smart. And I was like,
nah, that's probably my LaVine beef. I'll own up to
it. It might have been, but yeah, I know Luke's a witness, and so is a couple of my buddies.
I witnessed that.
Listen, you give Demarcus Cousins instead of the Kings, Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, and Tayshaun Prince. That team probably is a contender for their era and probably gets a couple rings. And I'm saying also for another huge point, if you're a team and your number one option, like best player on your team in their peak is DeMarcus Cousins, you're in way better shape than if your best player is Ben Wallace. Because he was never the best player in the Pistons. It was always arguably Chauncey or Rip Hamilton, and then you loved what Ben Wallace provided. But if you're going into the season like, yeah, Ben Wallace is like our jersey seller, like our front run, you're not going very far. You're just not. He needed a whole lot of help around him, and DeMarcus Cousins was able to do his thing with the Kings, who are the black hole of the NBA until this season. Yeah, really.
That's fair. I mean, maybe I didn't. Maybe I was a little strong by saying you guys are crazy.
Context is everything.
This is close. It is very close. I'm still leaning Wallace, but
I know.
Yeah.
Defense. Yeah.
It's crazy what happens. It's almost like you win championships when you play good defense. But
back then, absolutely.
Last year
with Timmy D and all that. Yeah.
Last year the two best defensive rated teams. You want to take a guess?
It probably was conducive to the time, the Warriors and the Celtics.
Oh, conducive to the times. When
we're talking about best defensive players, you always bring up Rudy Gobert. And, that team that bounced right. Like, if your best player is a defender, I don't think you're going to go very far. I do think team defense is valuable, clearly. Like, it's important.
No, I would argue.
But I don't think, like,
I would concur that defense is a team, should be more of a team stat. I would.
Right. Like the Timberwolves low-key have been a little bit better since Gobert hasn't been like
you might be right on Gobert.
It's very interesting. I even read a stat. Yeah, like I read a stat. Shai's got more blocks now. I understand that Shai has played way more games, but it's like when a guard is matching, it just the gears turn a bit. But no, that is a very good just argument in terms of like Ben Wallace's legacy is a lot more probably in terms of accolades and DeMarcus Cousins. Luke, do you have any players before I bring it? Did you have another one, Caleb? Actually, I think you said you had two.
I did. It was just in case it wasn't good. But I'll let you guys go first in case you guys have the same guy, because it's possible you might. So I don't want to steal it.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. I got two guys. I'll just say one of them right now. We can keep the rotation going. But let's see here. Better or worse all time, Pau Gasol.
Oh.
I can't in my right mind. Like there, you could argue like at their peak, maybe Cousins had like a year or two, right? I can't take debate as much as I want to, man. I do love DeMarcus Cousins, like what he was able to pull off the Kings. Like you drop 55 with them, that's crazy. But like Paul Gasol was it's Paul Gasol, man. Like even his old years, he was still serviceable. If you're Kobe's second option, like you got rings, DeMarcus Cousins can never get close really to that. Um, yeah, I just have a hard time putting DeMarcus Cousins over Paul Gasol because Paul Gasol is just very good for so long. I mean, he's one of the best players to come out of Spain ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to piggyback a little bit. I think in my mind it's a little closer than Christian, but I have to go Powell for the longevity reasons. That's, because you talk about just ranking somebody all time. This guy was able to do it longer and really well for a long time and very consistent for, long time. He's got more championships. He's got more All-Stars. He's got more All-NBAs. He kind of checks all the boxes for what I typically look for in these debates. So I got to go Powell.
Real quick, I feel like Paul Gasol was more balanced. Like if they went in a one-on-one game in their peak, I actually don't know who would win. Like I don't really see.
I would lean Cousins
getting his way every time. Maybe, but I feel like Paul Gasol's got a bag. Like in terms of like post moves and whatnot, he kind of does too. Yeah, he was 7 foot. He's bigger than Cousins.
Well, he's definitely scoring more than Ben Wallace.
Yeah, Ben Wallace is relying strictly.
That's my issue. Yeah, if Ben Wallace got an open shot on DeMarcus Cousins, I don't know if he's making it. Like I know Paul Gasol would.
Yeah, I think it all just boils down to, like you guys are saying, just for one, accolades. I mean, Boogie really hasn't, earned much, but I think it really boils down to just consistency over a long period of time. I mean, I really can't remember Pau Gasol, being out with a torn ACL or, crazy stuff like that. He's always just kind of been there, and when he does play, he's always good. So, I mean, the 1v1, debate, if they're both at their peak, I think I'd give it to Cousins just because he could do it all. But I think it would be close. I'm not saying it'd be just a blowout, but yeah, that was my.
Okay. That was a good one.
Guy. Okay,
that was a good one,
man. Yeah, real good name. Better or worse than Marc Gasol? No, I'm kidding. That's a cop out. I got a Blake Griffin. Better or worse? It would be a good interesting conversation. Blake Griffin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Me and I have had the peak of DeMarcus Cousins for like a year, but I definitely think he's had some like very good peak years where like DeMarcus Cousins only has a couple.
I think Blake Griffin gets a little bit like forgotten about. I think he's a little overrated, but he also gets like, maybe he's underrated in my mind because I just feel like I picture him as this like, Lob City, like incredible jumper. And that's what I remember him as. But you look at his numbers and he was close to, he was over 20 points a game for like the majority of his career until he got to Detroit. It's like this guy was a little bit more than just jumping.
I think he was overrated in Detroit, but underrated with the Clippers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when he was with the Clippers, he was so good the whole time. Then he left and everyone's like, oh, it's Blake Griffin. And then he really wasn't that good with the Pistons, but then it was still like, it's Blake Griffin. Like they really thought Drummond and Blake Griffin were like going to be the key to success in Detroit. They'd get wiped in the playoffs in the first round for like years. Yeah. Imagine. Yeah. But Luke, what's your stance on this?
I don't know. I want to preface by saying I don't hate Blake Griffin. I just like I really don't. I like him.
You don't like him. You don't like him.
I do like him. I do. He's all right.
Okay.
He's all right. But when I think of Blake Griffin, I think of him with coming out of Oklahoma dunking over a Kia Soul in the dunk contest. When I think of DeMarcus Cousins, I think of a dominant center, and I think that the way Boogie dominated does not compare to Blake Griffin. Yeah, you can give him the edge on athleticism and all that stuff. Like, defense could be a little closer. I bet Boogie's still got the edge on that. But I think I'd have to go DeMarcus Cousins just overall. Like Blake Griffin, I'm not going to say that when he was on the Clippers, he had a great supporting cast. Like Lob City wasn't bad by any means, but like Blake Griffin never had to pick up the slack of, like, he had DeAndre Jordan kind of there to, soften the blow, like defensively. And I mean, I don't even know who was on the DeMarcus Cousins Kings teams, if I'm being quite honest with you. So I'd have to go with
Rondo
Cousins.
Yeah.
Rondo.
Like
Yeah, I
Ben
didn't.
McLemore, Nick Stauskas, man. I don't know what to
Oh,
say.
Ben McLemore, 2K legend.
I didn't make a pick. I know I talked about Blake Griffin being underrated, but I still got to go Boogie for all the same reasons. Just sheer dominance, and I think that Griffin needed Chris Paul to succeed. Those were his best years. So, and Chris Paul was obviously in other guys in Lob City, but yeah, I'll go Boogie for sheer dominance.
Okay. He's getting a lot of love today. When I brought up Demarcus Cousins, I didn't know if we're all gonna. It seems like you guys hold him in
I
pretty
love
high
Demarcus
regard.
Cousins. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always liked
I
him.
think. I mean, where do you guys? I mean, in terms of centers all time, top 15.
I don't know if I can give him top 15. Not like right away. I feel like I could 10. I feel like there's like 5 or 6 centers in the 90s alone. I can kind of
Oh yeah,
put
but
over him.
outside of that, when you start to get out of it, you start to run out of names.
Oh, there's still Jokic and Embiid, right? I mean,
I think top 15 might be a stretch. I think for
I feel like
sure
top 25 is better.
Top
Yeah,
30 for sure. I think you can make that argument, but top 15,
I think I could get him in my top 20.
Yeah. There's been
without
so many good guys, man.
removing some old like George Meek. I mean, actually, Meekin is like his legacy is actually insane, but some of those other names that I mean, dude, you look at the guy who's like 15 All-Stars and all this crap, but yeah, removing some of those names. Yeah, I could get in my top 20. But the other guy I had, you guys didn't name him, was Dikembe Mutombo.
I was gonna say him. I have a second guy now, but I was thinking about him earlier. Dikembe Mutombo. No.
What is the? Wow.
Well, I think right off rip, I'm 100% sure that the scoring is also not there with
exactly.
I feel like Dikembe and Ben Wallace are pretty similar.
It kind of brings me to that point of like, yeah, I feel like if Dikembe is your number one option, like you're not mad Dikembe's on your team, but like if that's your best player, he kind of is like my view of like Rudy Gobert. Like I don't like them as much as Cousins, man.
I would say I'm assuming, Luke, you're gonna go Cousins.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would say this is like right in the middle of the Ben Wallace discussion. I would go Wallace, Cousins, Mutombo, but I do want it to be known that Mutombo was a better, scorer than Ben Wallace. I mean, half his career was double-digit points, and that is not the case for Ben Wallace. So, still like a clear defensive masterpiece, right? Like, averaging 4.5 blocks a game at one point in his career. So, which is just insane to think about.
I think Ben Wallace had it tough because he was undersized, like for his position at that era, like a 6'9" center in 2000. Like you usually expected your center to be 7 foot. If it was like Todd McElroy or Greg Ostertag, like somebody really random, like they were always like a 7-footer was your center, and
just
so
a body.
It's the Shaq. It was the Shaq effect,
right?
The Shaq,
right?
Like
the
Wallace is so good, man. I mean, Dikembe, he had the size too, right? He was what?
Yeah, he could get his dunks just because he was like 7'2", 7'3". I think Ben Wallace had that luxury, so it's like, well, Dikembe was a better scoring numbers, but do we really think he's a better scorer than Ben Wallace, or is it more of just like they were both just purely I'm gonna get the rebound and just swat everybody I see? I don't think
Dikembe as a rookie.
Like,
Dikembe as a rookie averaged 16 points a game, and Ben Wallace as a rookie averaged 1.
Wow. See, that's news to me. I actually never would have thought Dikembe would average.
I did not think he even had double digit. I think I was looking at his all-time thing.
Until
like 9.6.
That's crazy.
All time, he's like 9.8, but for the first until he was 35, he was only below double digits once.
Interesting.
And then the last couple of years of his career, he was like playing with AI. He played until 2009. Which is
he played so old, man.
News to me, but when he was with Denver and Atlanta, back in the 90s, he was double digits and double every night, and then almost 5 blocks at one point. So, Maybe a little
Unreal.
underrated, but I'd still go Cousins if he's going to get you 27 points. I mean,
Yeah.
different
Sure.
style, but different style. But anybody else to throw out there before we conclude our show?
I got nothing. Luke, did you have a second guy?
I mean, I'll just say it real quick. We don't really have to have a discussion. I just thought it was funny because when you think about both of their primes, like that kind of like the range, because this guy played at the same time. I was gonna say better or worse than Joakim Noah, but I think I know where we all stand. But I just thought it was funny because I kind of forgot. I mean, those two, they were clashing, back in the early 2000s or early 2010s, I should say. But yeah, I think I know where we all stand on that. But yeah, other than that, no, I'm all
I'm
good.
not taking that bait.
Yeah, no.
As much as
I'm so
I'd
glad.
love to. As much as
I had a
I'd
lot of
love
bait.
to.
That was some weak bait there, but man,
I don't know.
I do
Honestly,
think
going
Noah.
this, I didn't think you guys had
I'm reeling them in.
Demarcus Cousins in as high of a regard as I thought. I thought I was going to be like way ahead, but you guys are actually holding him like pretty high up in terms of like all-time centers. And
Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Like
I mean,
I
just
feel
an
like lately
insane
he
peak.
gets such
He
a
just
bad
doesn't have
rep.
the longevity.
Right. Like lately everyone's just like, oh, he's washed, cookie dough boy. Like everyone just kind of gets on him. And it's like,
I mean, because
well, like
it's true.
he was good for like a 5 year, like really good for a 5 year stretch. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, that's great names. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean,
Things to add?
no. Christian and I will be back tomorrow for Wild Card Weekend preview for you guys. Luke will be back next week for NBA Tuesday. But Luke, thanks again for coming on. It's always fun when you come in and get your perspective. So
Yes, sir.
and calm us down when we're talking about all-star starters. So
Hey, bro, if we're not getting loud on here occasionally,
exactly.
It says in our description, sometimes heated. I literally read that today, and I was like, we got to make sure to bring the energy. And so when I heard you guys didn't even have, I had two different guards. Not saying my opinion was completely right. I'll admit that now. I want to have a discussion, man. I'm gonna die on my heels.
I respect the man who can die on.
I can settle for a Donovan Harden backcourt. I will give Trae Young the sixth man.
Kicking Kyrie to the side. We're done.
Man.
We're done.
Kyrie.
We're done.
That's
all I got to say.
The show. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Be sure to check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And we will be back tomorrow for Wildcard Weekend Preview and back next week to talk trade deadline stuff and a little more NBA. So, as always, guys, thanks for listening.
Peace.
Take care.